tunaweza ingia game park bila kulipa.
Ai pale. Hiyo ni government road.
Bado tutafuta barabara zingine. Tutafute barabara zingine.
Hiyo ni government road. Paka hii.
Na sasa nani analipanga kuona wanyama kule?
Na wazungu.
Wanaenda wapi? Sisi tushaona wanyama. Kwani kuna wengine umeona ndovu? Ama zilikuwa nyati?
Hi, my name is Nicholas and this is a narration of the trip, the motor camping trip to Ntalaban and Sanga. Okay, so anywho, this is Chaka Town and that's David in the front, myself in the back. David's footage can actually be found on his channel, so I think I'll try and share some links to that. Anywho, let's enjoy the view. Later on from here you can see David waving at me. It's really nice riding out. It's sunny with a bit of cloud cover. I hope you enjoy the music. I don't know. I'm trying out something. Let's see how it works out. So anywho, David starts flagging me down, pointing that we need to stop ahead. Turns out my bike was smoking. I just had it serviced the previous day. Had its piston rings replaced because it needed it to be able to make it to the very end of the trip. I understand it's underpowered, but I tried to keep it in shape. Regardless, let's check it out. Yeah, so it turns out my bike is smoking, but it's on and off intermittently. So we decided to just continue riding. I'll buy some extra oil to just top it up. In case you're wondering, I'm recording this under my blanket. I'm trying to, what's that word? Soundproof everything. So now we're in Nanyuki town. You can already see that David has some water bottles on his bike. We just passed by a bull home and he offered us some water for camping because we couldn't carry water all the way from the tedious. Later on, we're nearing Timau. It's really beautiful and you can see I easily get distracted. Notice that white car in front of us. Yeah, now it will be important, so please pay attention to that. I should mention that by now we'd already left off the water bottles. It's about 14 liters of water. We'd left the water behind and parked it in the truck. The Nanyuki Rotary Club members had hired a truck, so we'd be able to leave off most of our things. You can probably notice that David had a tent tied to his bike's rear, as did I. And so we left off the tools and everything behind. So pay attention to the white car, the white small car. So something funny happened. I got distracted just after this crossing, and what happened? I crashed. I was distracted. I was looking to the side, trying to get some nice B-rolls, and I crashed. Luckily I didn't rear-end the car. I just got my ankle burnt by the exhaust pipe was hot. Broke my side mirror, so by now you probably noticed I don't have side mirrors on my bike. But a nice day regardless. I can say that we already have the what? The worst part is almost over. There's still some more in store, but just look at the views. Right now we're already off of Timau town, and we're riding to Chumvi. You might notice that the footage should be around 36 hours or something. So I tried to snip it up as much as possible. In case you're interested in seeing the very long, boring clips of rolling hills, be sure to check out the channel. I've uploaded all the footage I had. By now, I'm probably doing too many voiceovers, but regardless, I couldn't record non-stop. The views were very beautiful, so I try and conserve as much battery as I could. I didn't have the charger mounted on my bike's electrical mains, so I couldn't record. I couldn't charge my GoPro. I had two extra batteries just for the trip. But then again, I was limited by my 128 GB mem card, so I couldn't record as much, and I actually ended up deleting some very important footage. Also, that's the same way I didn't have footage for when I crashed the first and the second time. But anyway, views are looking nice. Riding off-road is beautiful. You can see that I don't have a side mirror. It broke off, and I know it's dangerous riding with it like that, but we proceed on. I'm so easily distracted by the mountains. Can you tell how beautiful it looks right about now? Maybe someone can tell me what this is, but to the right you could see some green in the previous shot. Looks like grass, not really grass. Ooh, and then look at those beautiful homes. Someone just built it in the middle of nowhere. My nowhere, not his nowhere. Beautiful. I had to check it out thrice, and then look out to the hills and the mountains and how flat everything looks out here. A nice ride regardless. We ride on. And pass. We get to Borana Conservancy and everything is just looking up. I've always wanted to ride into a conservancy or forest. I like riding in the wild, so you can literally just tell by me looking at that fence. It's an elephant fence, if I'm not wrong. The drooping wires. And I really did enjoy this. Sad to say that when I edited the footage, I forgot to add one particular part of me riding really fast into the bushland and among the animals. But regardless, it's actually been added to the very last part of the video as a bonus footage. So I hope you enjoy it. And now we're leaving. Where was this? Sadly, I can't remember what the school was called. But we'd basically just come to deliver some geometrical sets and art sanitary towels that the amazing people of Nyeri had donated. And we're out riding back. I got lost a bit riding back in the same direction we'd just come. But David was nice enough to catch up with me. And then I rejoined them, and we're now headed to our first stop, Sanga. You'd probably think it's close, but it's not really close, it's really far. And I was very insecure about the fuel I had. We'd definitely refueled all our bikes, and John, the guy pillioning Emily in the front, had mentioned that fuel worth 1,000 bob would be enough for the entire trip all the way to Isiolo. can see me waving at Emily, and just look at the view presenting the bundus. Don't you just love it? The views, and more views for you to enjoy. Guess what? There's a tree that's fallen over on the road and it's blocking the road. It's the 3 riders and the Land Cruiser in front, so we decided to ride off-road. I initially thought we'd just remove the tree because it's not that branchy tree, it's that, what's it called? I think you'll just have to check it out. I think you might see it in the frame at some point in time. It's something that's really light to move over, but it has a lot of thorns. I have gloves. So. But anyway, the view was amazing. It was beautiful. You can actually see this shot on one of my YouTube shorts. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this. And thank you so much, Emily, for having us tag along. We really enjoyed it, meeting every single person and seeing all the amazing views. We're definitely going to get you some more footage of other places that we get to ride to. But we continue riding for now. And this is where this is like the highest point in the hilltop. I'm riding off-road and I'm telling you, it is simply just amazing, so freaking beautiful. David had to stop, take a few photos. I definitely also had to stop. By now the guys had already ridden downhill really far off, or rather driven off really far downhill, and we could see them from what? From the hilltop that we were on. There were like 3 hilltops away, so we had to ride hard downhill with a lot of loose rubble. By now I'd lost my front brakes, so you can imagine riding off-road without front brakes. It's really hard, without locking your hind wheel. Regardless, we're riding, we know we can make up the time, and we're going to catch up with them actually in a few, so that we can get to enjoy this other view coming up in a few minutes. And here, the most notable thing is that I'm riding a cafe racer that does not have mudguards. I'm really grateful that it had rained. I wouldn't have wanted to just ride by some really dry bushland. It looked nice, but as you can tell, I'm actually piggybacking so that I can ride next to the water, because I was so sure I'd have been washed by all the water being splashed by the front tire and also the back tire. So I'm riding along, hoping not to get snatched by some thorns, and we ride off. By now, John had just joined his brother. His brother was waiting for him. You see that shoal he's carrying, the red one. He actually had five lambs, small sheep, small goats. I don't know, I think it's lambs. So anyway, he was giving them off to his brother to take them home. The drought had not been kind to them, so the rain was very much welcomed. Earlier on, he'd had to move his cattle over to somewhere near Chumvi, as he told me. And earlier today, he'd actually just brought in the mother, and now was just bringing in the lambs. And off we ride, and we meet up with the other guys. Turns out we just passed an elephant behind us. So as you see us stopping to look back, you can see a blue cloud of smoke. That's my bike's piston rings really misbehaving because my engine is burning oil. But behind us is some elephants, a mother and a calf. To the right, or to the left rather, you can see a Manyata and a very flat hill. This is a hill. It's beautiful. I mean, you should just visit. We actually did take a hike the following day, trying to track some elephants. It was fun. And right now we're riding into Sanga. It's a primary school that's supported by the community. Some amazing teachers here. We really enjoyed it. I couldn't have edited all of this. And here I'm showing David to the extreme left. You can see Mount Ololokwe. That's Archer's Post. Anywho, we're riding. You'll see a small view of the school. Guys, try your best if you can. Donate for the next round. The kids are needy. They're more than glad to take up your support. We enjoyed staying with them. We shared a good meal with them. Got to talk to them. And like I said, we're here mostly because of the library, the programs Emily runs with them. You can see the principal out there. No, the principal, the teacher, one of the teachers, out there to meet us. And it was a great ride for the first day. So we set up camp right around here, with amazing stories and getting to look up at the stars. I really enjoyed it. And we wave bye-bye the following day as we head out of Sanga. Next stop is in Talaban. And yet again, there's some footage that's missing of the hike. And also when we finally rode off into the shops. You can see us now. I think it's leaving the conservancy or something. So anyway, what do you think of the hills? Do you like them? Should we do this a lot more often? Yes, and crossing riverbeds. This one is one crazy attempt. David can tell you more about this. So that's right. Yo, keep up. I can see David trailing along. He's actually behind the cruiser and I know he can make it faster ahead. So anywho, we're still riding. There's a really nice viewpoint that we're coming across. We're coming up to. Yeah, and the hills look extremely beautiful. I should mention that on some of the missing footage, my front wheel actually broke off. I broke off the hub of the front wheel, and for the remainder of the journey I couldn't ride my bike. But that happens a lot, much later. But for now, enjoy the views. Tell me what you think. And so we come up to the viewpoint. Now let me just tell you, it is breathtaking. We're up on the hills and everything out there is just flat land. To the extreme right, you can actually see the start of Lewa Conservancy. And John tells us about a small village somewhere downhill, where the Maasai community come to graze their cattle. They have temporary huts, where they actually come and live in for quite some time before they head out looking for pastures in other different places. So you can call it a remote outpost. Let me tell you, the view is amazing, drop dead gorgeous. If you can make it, try your best to go here. So still in the lead is Emily and John. Can you imagine that she makes all these trips alone? Okay, hi, I'm John. But this time, some of the new bikers decided to join in. You can see David past me, and now we're nearing Talaban. You can see that everything is now flat. We have a lot more cashew trees, I think that's what they're called, and a lot of the trees that are actually down. Can you tell that it's an elephant that keeps dropping off, keeps falling off, falling the trees over? So elephants are very destructive. Turns out they do not like taking corners, and if they come across an obstacle, they will just simply uproot the tree if they can. Evident by the many trees that have fallen, especially on the hike that I wasn't able to record because clearly I didn't have enough power. I should mention that by now we had to charge our devices only once, and after that we are literally off grid for the next how many hours? For the next one day. This is how Manyata looks like inside, and this is us setting up our tents with some of the other guys you didn't get to meet. Yeah. And some kids just looking, watching over, curious. And that guy in the back, that elderly chap, he is the don of the compound, the Manyata. You can see the fences, they're made of bush, but thorn trees, thorn trees.
So we've already pitched up tents. Pitched up tents, is that correct? Ah, fuck. Anyway, sorry for the language. Oh, I can see some tape. Is this how you repair a tent? I honestly don't know. Interesting to know. But you can see we're very next door to Manyata. You can see the guys are happy. The guys are happy. You can see the horizon over there. We've literally come from a hill behind that one. Behind it. And that has been the ride. Hope you enjoy the content. Like and subscribe.
This is the following day. It took us how many days? It was a 3-day affair. So this is Sunday. We left off. We rode from Yeri on Friday. Camped the first day on Atsanga, second day in Talaban, and this is on Sunday when we're leaving Talaban. Right now you might notice that I am not riding my bike. Can you see something on that track? Can you see a number plate hanging from the roof? That's my bike. The front wheel broke off. Long story. We were riding back and it was rather rocky, and from the very first time I actually fell off in front of the white car. Something happened. Long story. But anyway, David was kind enough to lend me his bike so that I wouldn't get too depressed, because I really wanted to ride out here. Thank you, David. Trailing it for a few kilometers because I wasn't too sure about the way back. We're now headed to Isiolo. I kept looking at the side mirror to make sure that the GoPro was still on. because I had to keep turning it on and off. Fun fact, just next to this church is the only place where you can get an internet connection. Not even an internet connection, a network connection within a 50-kilometer radius. How do I know this? Before my front wheel broke off, we'd stopped here to make calls to the people out there. Anyway, it was an amazing ride. I enjoyed camping for the first time in my life. Watching stars and not having devices is something really nice. Pretty therapeutic. I will be doing this a lot more often. But rather, regardless, enjoy the view. I think I'll be talking much later on. For now, enjoy. As you can tell by the number of times I have to keep on waiting for the Land Cruiser to catch up with me. Bikes are really nice out here and the terrain is beautiful for an off-road trip. You can see Msafiri beckoning at me, telling me to turn off my indicators because they're still blinking. Polite reminder for you guys, bikes don't have that auto cancellation where you indicate and then once you turn it cancels. So here's some of the bonus footage. Me riding through the conservancy, waiting for everyone to make sure that I got to record everyone as we rode. You can tell I was super happy to be out here. On the ridge that I'd actually stopped at, you can see wildlife down there. There are lots of gazelles, tic-tacs, buffaloes, and it was fun. Here, this is another bonus footage before my wheel broke off. You can see I'm on my bike. So this is the only shopping center that you can find within like an 80-kilometer radius. Maybe I'm overselling it, but it's actually 15 kilometers from Talaban. But I should mention that it takes you a really long time to get here. So they also have not an Airbnb, but they have what's it called? They have rooms that you can rent out. Over those hills is the start of the Lewa Conservancy. Yeah, and this is how we wind up our trip. I hope you really enjoyed it. Tell me in the comment section, should we do this again? Anywho, thank you and see you next time. Bye.